Hey everyone, welcome to After Dark Analysis. Today is kind of an experimental episode on an idea I'm having, so I'm going to outline what I'm actually going to try and do. If you're not interested in that, timestamp in the description. See you later. So almost every time I put out a video, without fail, the comment section goes with, you forgot such and such and such and such. And that's fine because sometimes I legitimately forget. Sometimes I thought about it and didn't think it really added much to the topic. And sometimes I just didn't even know about it because, believe it or not, I haven't seen every movie ever. Every time this happens, I do watch it. I either go back or see it for the first time if I can get a hold of it, just to see if there is something more there that I can add. The problem comes in is when I do several part series, nothing ever performs as well as the first one, which tells me you guys don't dig on the second, third, fourth installments nearly as much as you do the first. So instead of making part twos, what I'm thinking of doing is starting to make quote-unquote supplemental episodes. They'll be looser structured and probably shorter in most cases, just to kind of deal with the bits and bobbles of things that could be added in but don't necessarily warrant a whole new proper episode, if that makes any kind of sense. Because I'm going to assume you all watched the first part, so you already have the information. So this is just to supplement that information. I'm going to try it out with a few episodes, see how it goes, and kind of go from there. So today I'm going to start out with the Weaponized Sound episode. Cubeº was pointed out in the comments, but I realized later on that the film Guinea from 1985 also fit here. These two films dealt with weaponized sound, I guess, in a more traditional sense than I did. I dealt with repeating and viruses being spread via sound and things that would just drive you insane. Whereas these two dealt with it in a very similar fashion, and that's to have insanely loud sounds. For those that haven't seen the original 1985 Guinea Pig, it's about a group of men that abduct a girl and just torture her for days on end. Obviously, one of their torture methods is via sound. Her torso and arms are tied to a chair as a means of restraint. She has headphones on her ears, like the old big studio headphones. There also seems to be a rope placed around them. I'm guessing that's to keep them on, even though it's awkwardly placed, so I figured I'd point it out. And all we as the audience hear is a high-pitched metallic kind of static noise. So we're assuming that's what's playing in the headphones, just in a much louder volume. At the bottom, we get different numbers and then the letter H. So we assume that means it's been X amount of hours. At the hour 5 mark, she is just screaming uncontrollably, and the rope around the headphones looks like it's been replaced with tape. At the 10-hour mark, she's just kind of muttering to herself. It's almost like she's just given up. And by the 20-hour mark, her mouth is foaming and she just passes out in the chair. Dealing with any kind of prolonged noise for 20 hours straight is obviously going to have a serious mental and physiological impact. Moving on to 2004 with the Cubeº. This is the last installment in the franchise, so I'm going to try and keep spoilers at a minimum. But for those with no background in the Cube franchise, it revolves around a bunch of people trying to get from room to room inside of a massive cube to try and escape. The problem is certain rooms are booby-trapped, and they have to figure out which one. While the methodology for how to tell which rooms are booby-trapped and which ones aren't changes throughout the franchise, the basic principle stays the same. Most of the time, the characters are smart enough to understand that they can throw a boot or something into the room to see if it's rigged or not. But sometimes testing rooms takes a more vindictive turn, and if somebody doesn't like somebody, they'll just simply throw them into the room to test it. That brings us to this particular segment where one character throws another character in because they believe they might be infected with something from another room. Again, not going to get into huge details. It's not really a spoiler to say any of that. And the trap just so happens to be a lot of speakers coming out of the walls and blasting them with sound. And again, we're getting that physiological response because obviously his eardrums are going to blow. Basically, this person explodes from just the sheer pressure of all the sound waves hitting them. So while this might be horribly exaggerated and probably not all that feasible, it's still a somewhat reality-based method of using sound as a weapon and closer to what we would see in real life. It shouldn't come as a shock to anybody that plenty of militaries throughout history have used music as a weapon against the enemy, either to torture prisoners or get more information. Using sound will psychologically break them faster than just isolation will. This concludes the first installment of these supplemental episodes. As always, if you like what you're seeing, please hit like, comment, subscribe. If you don't like what you're seeing, leave me a comment, let me know. Thank you.